Thank you for joining my lab session. So today I'm going to discuss about the object-oriented analysis and UML diagrams. So if you look at the first question, consider the development of an online course registration system. So you are going to develop an online course registration system that will allow the students to add and drop classes at a university. Okay, so the student will add and drop the classes at the university. Describe the activities that will take place during the analysis, design, and implementation phase. So 3 phases you have to give the activities. What actually you need to do for that. Okay, give the specific examples, activities that relate to the registration systems. Okay, if you look at the first activity, what is the first activity during the object-oriented analysis and design phase? First one is the activity during the analysis phase. We call the analysis phase. That what you need to do, basically you need to get the informations. Okay, so in that case, according to our scenario, what you need to do, first of all, you need to define some terms such as the student, faculties, course, section, roster, room, open, closed, cancelled, full, staff. So these are the actually the terms you need to define first. Then after that, what you need to do, these are of course need to interact of these entities of all these classes. For example, course have sections. Then you define how many sections of your courses, and also sections are taught by faculty in particular rooms. Then you define the interactions between them. Sections have a roster of students, and also the students have a schedule map for the classes. Then number 3, then document the user interface. You need to document the user interface. For example, how are courses and sections entered into the systems, and how do students and courses and check their schedules. So you have to set up which time you want to take your courses. All these things you have to be set up during the in the interface session. Then lastly, the number 4, identify databases. Based on all these classes, all these activities, then you have to identify what are the databases you need to use. For example, you need to use the database, student database, faculty database, maybe you need to use the course databases. So all these things you have to define in the which phases we call the analysis phase. Okay, now the next activity will be during the design phase. Okay, you look at the design phase, which include the following. Identify the classes. Okay, this is very, very important. Based on your system development, you need to identify the classes. For example, student class, faculty class, course class, section class. Okay, and all these things you need to define first, identify first. Then after that, you need to identify the responsibilities of those classes. Okay, what the class will do, what are the function inside the class. All these things we have to define. For example, course can add is a function. Course can delete. Delete is a function. So all these things you have to define during this design phase. Then after that, number 3, you need to identify the relationship between the classes. Okay, for example, a course has 0 or many sections. Okay, a course has 0 or more students. So this is we call the among the relationship. Maybe this is association relationship, aggregation relationship, or generalization relationship based on your based on your system development. Okay, and the next one is the last one is the activities during the implementation phase. What we should include in that case. Develop the prototype that has, so that means we need to develop the prototype in the implementation phase. Okay, for example, you can say that has only 1 courses. Okay, maybe you can define other things as well. And also you need to write the code, you need to test the code and deploy all classes, use all classes. All right, so I hope you understand what we need to do in the the analysis phase, and also in the design phase, and also in the implementation phase once you want to develop any system. What is the difference between an object and a class? Okay, so according to the definition, An object is a member of a class. Remember, an object is a member of a class. It is also known as an instance of a class. So we call that instance of a class. And then a class then is a collection of objects. So in the class, we have a lot of objects we create and we use these objects. That's why we call a class then is a collection of objects. A class is the software blueprint that specifies how a group of objects behaves and their compositions, whereas an object of class is an instance of classes. That means in the class, actually, this is the blueprint. We call the blueprint, and how the objects behaves and how they are composition and their what is their compositions. So we call this is the blueprint of the class, how the group of objects behaves and their compositions. Okay, next, a class is an abstract concept. What is class? Class is an abstract concept, whereas an object is a tangible concept, an actual manifest of the class. Okay, for example, what is the difference between Anthony Hopkins and humans? Look at it. Anthony Hopkins is a human, one kind of human. Okay, and the human. So human is a type of living things, a category. Okay, so we can say human is the class, and maybe Anthony Hopkins, in that case, we can put as an instance of a human. That means object. Maybe one of the object is the Anthony Hopkins. We can consider as objects. Okay. So next question is list at least 8 classes that can be used an online course registration system that allows a student to add and drop class at a university. So the probable classes might be, these are the list of the classes. If you look at here, maybe you can use the student class, faculty class, course class, section class, roster class, time class, semester class, department class, schedule class, major class, transcript class, and also some graphical user interface classes. So this is the probable classes for this course registration system. Okay.